Hello, loves, and welcome to Enchanting Love Creations podcast, where I help to teach or make aware or what the reasoning is, with topics such as psychic mediumship, true crime, energy healing, metaphysical gardening, and so much more. Hi, my name is Jennifer. I am an accredited certified practitioner and teacher for my services that I provide and teach with my courses that are on my Academy website and sometimes on my YouTube videos and podcasts. If you have any suggestions that you want me to make a video about, please send that enlightenmystic@yahoo.com. Coming up on the pictures are going to be website links, including my email address and more. In the description section of where you are watching this video at, somewhere there, is going to be clickable links so you can easily access it, or you can copy and paste some of it and easily access it that way as well. After these quick little video clips, I will go ahead and either share a clip of the episode of what's to come up for this episode, or I'll just jump right into it. So, we'll see you then. Welcome. This should be the first, I've made a few podcasts, but hopefully this will be the first podcast for this, I guess you would say, podcast streamer. I have been making quite a few, and I've had to learn, and hopefully, like I said, this is the last time, and that this will actually be the first podcast, because I will apologize already in advance because I already got interrupted. If you're new to my channels or podcast or anything, my son, he is nonverbal autistic, and that's part of these podcasts, and I have a specific channel for that, along with videos that me and my little man, we are doing Naturally Recovering Autism program, and so we are sharing our journey with y'all, the challenges and progress, and that's supposed to help him basically recover from the autism, meaning like depending how well and how successful we can be with this, he could maybe, go to college, he could maybe get married and become verbal and, all that fun stuff. But anyways, that I will be covering some topics, like I said, in this podcast as well. So it just depends on also what people, would like for me to create next and things like that through the emails and everything as well. Anyways, so welcome to this podcast. I'm new to this, so I'm not sure, because I don't, if I had more time in the world, trust me, I would be, because I'm a content creator as well. And so I try to also, I'm working on my courses, and I made an Oracle card deck, and I got Oracle card decks that I'm making, like a mediumship one as well, that's going to go with my mediumship course, which you would become, if you were interested in that, and you took it or whatever, you would become basically a practitioner as well as a teacher of it. And so there's a lot that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create books and this and the other as well. And so my time is like very limited and everything, but it's all right. I'm trying my best, and hopefully, it's liked or whatever. But anyway, so there's going to be a lot of topics, like I said, that I'll be covering, and I'll just kind of go by what y'all suggest as well. And then I might even, do some polls like on my YouTube channel, or wherever you follow me at, maybe my Twitter, which is called X now. And I wish you would have had a different name for that, because that's just, I don't know. It just needs a different name. But yeah, so, yeah. Anyway, I had already talked about this a little bit in a video that I'm uploading right now, and so I figured I might as well talk about some of the stuff that I had talked about anyway, because like I said, this is my podcast. And so I haven't watched others to be able to get ideas of how to do podcasting. So I'm just hoping that I'm doing okay. And hopefully I'll improve along the way. And that's definitely going to be because with y'all's help as well. Sorry, my cat's going to, one of my cats going to try to get my attention because she's wanting to go back outside. She's one of those cats that's like, you know how like some cats, some are inside cats, some are outside cats, some are different types of cats. And she is definitely one, like my other kitty that I had too. I'm hoping she's okay because somebody took her in this neighborhood. And I was like, well, if that's what she wants to do, that's what she wants to do. Because she had already followed us. Maybe I can go ahead and talk about that briefly too. I had found her at an apartment that I had lived at. And she was a beautiful orange tabby cat. And I just, could never come up with names. And so I ended up calling her Pretty Kitty. And so she would sit there, and from day one of meeting her, she literally just out of the blue just was outside my door one morning when I went to bring Michael to the bus, my son. And I was just like, okay, who's this Pretty Kitty? And so she followed us literally to the bus, like standing at the bus stop with us. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This is something new. I've never experienced that before. And so she followed me back and everything. And then literally when I went to go get him, she was again outside the door. And then she literally followed me to the bus and then followed me back with my son. And I was like, okay. So she kept doing this. And I was like, man, I wish I could take her in, though, because at the time I didn't know that I was finally going to be able to get a mobile home and get out of there. And so I was like, gosh, there's got to be a way I can, take her in. And because it costs, more to be able to, when you're renting and everything, to be able to raise animals, if that place allows it. And they did allow it. It's just I didn't have the money to be able to do that. So I would try to feed her a little bit outside and everything, feed her in water. Well, finally the time came, and I was going to try to grab another one too, but they ended up getting to her before I could get her. I was like, man. But so I brought Pretty Kitty with me to the mobile home where I had lived at, which was beside my parents. And then again, she just always wanted to be outside, even over there. And but she would come in every now and then, like it would have to be extreme cold or extreme hot. But even then, most of the time, she still fought through it, and she still wanted to be outside. I was like, good gosh. And so we brought her here when I moved here. And then we ended up getting 2 more kittens, and then a 3rd kitten. And then finally, she was just like, because she never liked animals. Like I think she wanted to be a solo kitty. And so the more we kept bringing in, the more she was just like, nope. So she'll just come and visit every now and then. The last time I saw her was about a month ago. And so I'm hoping I'll get to see her again. But so since she already had that wild nature and everything, I didn't want to take that from her and try to, well, you're going to stay here. You're my cat, blah, blah, blah. Well, it don't work like that. They literally choose us. And so I figured, okay, if she's found somebody else, and that means she's vibing more with them at the moment, and also not wanting to be around all these cats. So I was just like, I'll go, that's what she's choosing. Let her choose that. I would like to take her with me when I move, if I get that chance to. Because my brother, he just got a place, or I think he finally bought it. He was supposed to be, I think, signing papers or something. It sounds like this weekend. So we'll see what happens. But if so, in time, I got to move up there because the cost of everything is just getting crazy, which we'll get into that in a little bit. Because I'm sure a lot of y'all are probably experiencing that as well, or have been experiencing, and it just keeps getting worse. Again, we'll get into that in a little bit. So I'm trying to stay on topic because I will go all over the place, and I apologize when I do that, but that is me. But yeah, so it ended up where she was like, I'm not going to be around all these cats, so sayonara. But you know, if I do get that chance to move up there and everything, if she does come back and everything times out right and she seems like she wants to stick around, then I'll take her with me. If not, I might just go ahead and leave a message in the neighborhood group before leaving and just saying, because I mentioned before, I was like, I don't know where she's at. She's not coming back, blah, 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 but nobody responded. So either they don't have the internet and they don't care, to use Facebook, or, I question sometimes too if she could be at the older lady's house. And so more than likely she wouldn't have, like Facebook and all of that. So she's somewhere and she's definitely well taken care of, it seems like. But yeah, so if it seems like she wants to move up there with me, then I'll go ahead and take her with me. If not, then, I'm going to let her stay here. And I might, like I said, leave a thing in the neighborhood, just, letting them know at least the part of the past that I'm aware of. I don't know before that. I do know where she came from, but that's as far as I know. And then, like I said, where, I've been and all that. And so they'll have a little bit of a history with her if they're interested in that. They probably kept her because I didn't put no tracking chip in her or anything. And so, unfortunately, they might have taken her in and they might have already done that too. So, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so like I said, she is definitely an outside cat. It don't matter what temperature it is. Like, it was very rare that she would come back inside. The only time she would do that is, when she wanted a little bit of loving. But then after that, it was mainly come give me loving outside while I'm outside kind of thing too. So the little one that I have right now, she's definitely the same way too. And so if you could leave her outside day and night with food and water, she'll be happy. But I don't do that because, especially how tiny she is, and we have the raccoons here that I'm feeding and some other wild animals, and I don't want them all fighting for the food. And so it's just best to not even, put the food out there and everything. So, but yeah, so that's that. And I'm sure you've probably had, a cat or two, that's like that as well. And like I said, some are just inside and some are just, they want to literally eat, sleep, breathe, live nonstop 24/7 outside, even in rain. It's like, good gosh. And I remember my one cat too. He was the same way. I named him Garfield. And during the hurricane and everything had flooded, and he was like the loudest meowing and everything that he could do. I'm like, baby, it is so wet out there. It is full of water, It's like there's nothing that can be done. And then when the water was slowly going down, like it was still very wet on the porch and everything. And then it was funny the way he was trying to run across the porch because it was so wet. And then he ends up getting outside where it was still about 2 or 3 feet of water. And he's swimming and he's meow, meow. I'm like, Garfield, baby, come on. I was like, you cannot go outside yet. I was like, do you see what I'm talking about? I was like, okay. So I went, because he swam to like the burn pit and stood there. So I had to walk out and go get him, and then I brought him back in. So I was trying to dry him off and all of that. But yeah, some cats just are desperate. Like, they just have to be outside, or the outside they prefer to potty at, or what their reasons are. They just have to be outside. Definitely leave in the comments your stories about your cats and everything, like what personality they have, what is it that they do, what is their quirks, whatever, that you would like to talk about. And it doesn't have to be just cats too. It could be any animal, because I totally love all animals. So I would definitely love to hear about it. Even in the whether it's a wild one, whether it's let's say you raise tigers or whatever, or something that's just not common. I would just love to hear about it. And yeah, so just definitely let me know that. Another cute story that came to my mind real quick before we get into the oracle cards is that my dog, I remembered, I totally forgot about it until I saw the picture. I was like, oh my gosh. She would literally be like a window cat, but was my window dog. Like literally would be on top of the couch, laying there as if she was a cat. And I was just like, but you got to keep in mind though, she's a huge German Shepherd. I was like, good God, girl, what are you doing? And it was so funny looking. If I come across that picture or something sometime, I'll definitely put it in a video or, a post or something so you can see it. Because it was absolutely adorable. And I miss those girls, but when I moved from there to here, this yard wasn't big enough for them, and I know that this wasn't the right place for them. And so I had actually, about a year before giving them to a home, I had actually seen who the guy was and everything. And I never met him, and I still haven't met him. But I could, see he had, a bigger property, and that the girls were happy and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, so they must be fixing to move on. And that was my first experience to learn that when you experience things like that, that's your guides letting you know that, hey, there's changes coming up and that they were fixing to be moving on. I've only had a few other experiences like that. And the little one that you're seeing right there, that's the one that was meowing a minute ago. If you're watching the YouTube version. And then her sister, you'll see her in a second. But yeah, so that was my first experience like that, being guided like that. And then the other experience like that, and that was my son that I was just talking about also, that was playing with her a second ago. And then I started getting visions in this house of 2 or 3 kids and then parents moving in here. And I was just and I could tell the energies was changing in each room and everything. And I was just because this is more, I guess you would say, in a sense, advanced type. I don't know if it's really psychic, mediumship, whichever. But it's definitely with the clairsenses and abilities and things like that. But anyway, so I'm just teaching you all this as well because these videos will be educational too. So if you experience things like that, that's definitely letting you know that changes are coming and to be prepared and ready for the changes that are coming. So it's a confirming sign, this is going to happen. You will be moving from here. And so I do know I'll be moving up north with my brother. It's just when. When am I getting the RV? When am I, and a whole lot of other factors as well. So, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on that. And if that happens to you, now you know the reason why. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead and share with y'all my oracle cards that I had created. And so I will go ahead and probably, I'm thinking I'll just go ahead and pull a few cards just to either give a quick little reading to or whatever. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, but we're fixing to find out together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just, basically pull a few. I don't have these listed just yet on my Etsy shop, but they will be going there. Just pretty much... Let's see, it feels like these two for sure. Oop, gotta be careful because I got this phone barely balancing. I don't have the tripod thing out for it. I wonder how far I can go with these. And this is a deck that I just recently created. Right now I'm working on my mediumship one as well. And then I'll probably have some other decks. But I want to get some courses that I'm creating finished as well. And, okay, it feels like these 3. And then that should be it. Okay, so bear with me. I'm trying to hurry. Now, you're probably, because this is going to be a podcast. So... the YouTube, I will have this video with, for the YouTube version. The podcast version, you're just going to hear the audio of it. If you want to see what these cards look like, then definitely check out my YouTube channel. I'll try to find a way to share, if I can remember, where to find my channel at. So therefore, if you're interested into seeing these cards, and you can check it out. They will be available on my Etsy shop, and I'll try to remember to put my Etsy shop on the description as well. So whenever I finally have the time to sit down and create the listing, then we will go from there. But I haven't got to do that yet. So, okay. So the first card is soul shifting, shadow work, the dark night of the soul, and higher self. Trying to get it to make sure you can see it. I know the lighting's not that great, but it should show pretty decently. I don't know if we'll see, because sometimes I'll pull all of them and then give the reading, and then sometimes I'll pull a few and then I'm like, well, they want me to start reading now, so it just depends. Soul sister or brother, intertwined passions, true, deep, genuine connections. And like I said, it just really depends where we're going to go at with it. Like these two, if these two were together. Now, keep in mind, I have to say this too every time. I try to remember to. This whole reading right here could be for one person, few people, however many. For you, it could be just this card, or it could be just this card, or it could be the last card, or it could be, you know, whichever card that stands out to you, and whatever meaning or whatever words that I say stand out to you, that is your confirmation, that's your meaning, that's for you. If nothing stands out and you're just like, well, that was kind of a cool reading, then maybe sometimes in those situations, that's for somebody that, like, let's say your friend's going to go through something similar, or it could be a few years down the road and then maybe you go through it. However the meaning is, there's always some sort of meaning to why you watched it. It could be even just for the artwork. It could just be, you know, whatever, like I said, whatever the reason is. So if it does stand out for you, those could be the reasons why. If it don't, then, you know, those could be the reasons why too. So I just wanted to always, you know, clarify that, because this is a collective consciousness reading. And so I try to reach as many people as I can, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be for everybody. And so, like I said, this could be something later on for you. Okay, follow the guided path, messages, guidance, signs, and synchronicities. Kind of basically exactly what I was just talking about. Now, some of these, I noticed it's hard to see on the card, the written. So what I'm going to do, that I started doing, is I'm writing a PDF. So therefore, you'd at least have a PDF if you did get these cards. Okay, sorry about that. My son has this obsession that when he sees the phone, I don't know what it is, but he has to always turn the volume down. And what that does is it stops the video. So anyway, he's nonverbal autistic, if you are new to my channel. And so he doesn't mean it. But thankfully he's letting me record this right now. So that's why I'm trying to go through it quickly. And hopefully he'll let me finish it. But yeah, so there will be a PDF file. So therefore, the words will be written on there, and therefore it'll be easier to, you know, go through and all of that. Anyway, so this card is enchantment, fairies, and mystical experiences. Yes, what it means. That is a very, very powerful pull so far. Hold on, baby. I know. Hang on. You're like messing the whole thing up. Hold on, baby. I know. Hang on. Give me a minute. I'm trying to finish this. Trying to get the... Okay. Whoa. Hold on. Okay. If you want to show them, hold on. Here. Show them this one. This will be the next card. You might not be able to see it because he's holding it the opposite direction of the camera. There you go, baby. Okay. So this one is learning new information, a new profession, enhancing, and growth. So I can see where this is going in a few ways. And again, like I said, this is going to be resonating with everyone in a certain specific way. I can see that some of this goes to a relationship. I can see where this is going to somebody's career. I can see, you see where I'm going at with it. So personal soul path, different things. And so I'm going to try to get there. I hope you don't keep distracting me. He's out of the room for the moment. So let's try to keep going. And then I'll try to read as many ways as I can that I'm seeing into it. This is gentle, caring, and nurturing. So see, this could be possibly a relationship. But it doesn't necessarily mean that either. It could be like a very caring, like family member or something, So like I said, I'll get there in a second. The last card is shutting out everyone in a love bubble cocoon. So yeah, definitely somebody in a relationship. Some of y'all are in a relationship or going to be in a relationship, either or way. And what I had in mind for this card, the shutting out everyone in a love bubble cocoon, is like the first stages of love. You know how, like, when you're in love, you just want to shut everybody out and you're in your own little world and, you know, like that kind of thing. That is part of the reason why for this card, and that's why I chose like the glass ball type of thing, and they're inside the glass ball, and you got that fantasy look with the, you know, castle in the background and all that lovely stuff with the pretty flowers and everything, and it looks like they're getting married, and you know, that's why I chose that. And the person that for this reading could be getting married, you know. All right, so what I'm seeing is very, very spiritual, for sure. Somebody on, whether, you know, if it's a relationship and whether both of y'all practice spiritual enlightenment or just one person or whatever, but this is definitely, and it doesn't have to be spiritual enlightenment. It could be somebody that's very religious. It could be somebody, you know, whatever type of spiritual path, Wiccan, etc., you know, that you're on, you're very in tune with it. You're definitely connected deeply with your guides, and you definitely receive signs and synchronicities very clearly, and that's what's going to happen with this as well. For some people, there's probably some shadow work going on within the love, or just for yourself. Trying to get it to where it kind of shows everything, but it's not really going to be able to. Let me see if I can get it to, if it will, I don't know. Okay, it mostly shows it, but it's not going to show every single thing. I'm going to try the best that I could. Oh, I don't want to cover that up either. There you go. Okay, we're getting a little bit better. All right, so hopefully you're able to see it a little bit. Yeah, because like I said, I'm seeing where there's definitely different ways this is going. I just hope that also the audio is not too bad. Because usually with the microphone, it's where the candle side is, where the phone's on. And so I don't think I'm going to be heard. It'll probably be through one speaker or whatever, which might be annoying, and I apologize for that. Usually I would have the phone the other way, but I need to get that tripod when I do this next time. Well, I noticed one thing. Mushroom is standing out and on this card, and I was going to say love because this is very love related. I just was guided while I was sensing mushroom, looking at those mushrooms on the card. I was guided to look at this mushroom, this crystal mushroom that I have that has a heart. And so again, it's confirming more, and for you also could be some heart signs that you need to look out for. But maybe, you know, shroom has meaning for you. Maybe it could also mean fairies, because that's what partly that card is with connecting with the fairies, the enchantment, the mystical experiences and things like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean like ayahuasca trips or, you know, those kind of stuff. I think I have to be careful with things that I say for YouTube. I'm not quite sure what all I can say. So hopefully that doesn't, because like I said, I'm not sure what all I can and can't say. I try to be very careful. But yeah, so you kind of go where like retreats and things like that, you know. You don't have to necessarily do that at a retreat. You could do things at home, you know. But it could mean that, but it's also, and how I have it also is, like sometimes people will question, like, was this, you know, a mystical type of experience? You know, is it, you know, in my mind, did this really happen? You know, like that kind of thing. And that just kind of is helping to confirm that, yes, that was considered a mystical type experience. And maybe to look further into it and see where your guides lead you to and all of that as well. But yeah, let's see. So you're definitely connected with your higher self, or soon to be for sure. I'm just kind of quickly looking over these. And then after this, I'm going to get back into the podcast. And it's going to be more video type style, like I said, for the YouTube. And I'll be doing the voiceover over those videos. And then, of course, it'll be audio through the podcast. I don't know where all the podcast is going to be at yet. I know that I'm supposed to upload it to that one specific platform. I can't remember the name of it right now. Podbean or something. I can't remember the name. I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. But once I upload it there, it sounds like then you can upload it to like Amazon or like Amazon Music or to YouTube or different locations. And so we'll see. I think as far as Spotify, I think I have to create an account specifically there, and then I can upload it there. So it's going to probably take a little time before I get all this sorted out, but we are definitely going to get it sorted out. And through time and through these videos, I'll be definitely letting y'all know exactly where it'll be coming through and all of that, if you like these type. And like I said, if you like these video type style, then that's definitely going to be through the YouTube. If you like to do your own work and you just want to hear, something and maybe to think about things or whatever, or to hear readings like this or whatever, that I offer, because like I said, I offer a lot of different things. I might try to cover all the type of topics that I talk about, and some, and then others, I'll have them maybe separate or something. And plus it'll depend on what y'all request and everything as well. So y'all might be like, oh, I like these 3 topics that you do. Can you cover these 3? And, let's say a lot of people, agree to that or whatever. Then I might cover that for that week. And then I don't know if I'm going to do this weekly, monthly, bi-weekly. I don't know yet, but we'll find out. I know one of my cats is in here. I'm trying to figure out who. Which one's in here? Oh, it's the little ones. I hope she's just sitting there and not trying to use it as a potty. Oh no. Okay, I think she was just sitting there. Okay, sorry about that noise. My chair's loud. Anyway, anything else? What I'm hearing also as far as like learning new and that kind of stuff with this card, what I'm feeling like maybe is you will discover something within the relationship, if you're in a relationship, or if you're starting a relationship, or soon to be starting a relationship, you will be discovering something new. Because like it says, learning new information, a new profession, enhancing in growth. As far as looking at this from a work perspective, there's probably, what I'm feeling is in the work environment, there's some sort of energy shifting that needs to take place, whether it's within yourself or something that could be maybe cleansed, or something in some sort of way that needs energy shifting. Whatever it is, you will definitely know the answer to that. I'm just hoping this is confirming that. Because when that step happens, that's where there's going to be deep connections and friendships and bonds and stuff is going to be made. Like this will be great work environment right now. The way that the setup is and everything. So, definitely continue to follow the guidance, and you might possibly have some mystical experiences along the way, and you will definitely be learning something new if, like I said, if there's something to shift energy-wise and stuff. It will turn into a more caring environment, caring and sharing kind of thing, like working together, like teamwork. Because if these steps aren't starting to be worked on, it could end up where shutting people out and just going to work and going back home, going to work, going back home kind of thing. Keeping yourself in a bubble. Not necessarily, like I said, like in a love bubble and everything, like for the love version, but for the work version, that's what I feel like that could be. I'm hearing there's also possibly a student that's going to be watching this video or hearing the audio. what I'm seeing, it's going to be, I think, a college student is what I'm seeing. And I was seeing like a vision of like learning and discovering something new for the classroom. And the vision ended up where looking like outside the window, and it seems like maybe a cloudy day or something is what I'm getting. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean everything that I'm seeing is going to be exactly on point. It could just mean like cloudy could just have a meaning, or looking out the window, or you could even be in the bedroom or something and then looking out the window and then that happens, or anything in any way. But yeah, something about a new experience, and that's the vision that I had saw. Trying to think of what else that could be maybe helpful and pinpoint what it could be for you. I'm hearing new classroom. So maybe if you've been questioning, okay, I'm hearing it in different ways. Like either you could be questioning, like, should you take a different path? And I'm feeling like, yes, that's if you've already been questioning that. If that thought hasn't even came to mind, don't even think about it. Now, if it comes to your mind later on, then yes, that's just a confirming way. But don't just, oh, well, yeah, maybe, no. I don't want to change no career path or anything. It was that, and there was one other way that I was sensing this. Trying to remember. It was like the way that it came about or something, or it could come about as far as changing to a new type of career or something. I can't remember. Oh, so frustrating when that happens, but what else? And definitely let me know in the comments too if any of this applies to you, or if you need a little extra input into it that maybe could be helpful. Definitely let me know. And then I should, at the end of this video, if you see the YouTube version, if not, I'll try to remember to put it in the podcast as well. The email that you can email me at to whatever, if you like these readings or something and you want me to add more of that in the next podcast that you'll think you'll be watching, or specific topics or something that you like me to cover about or whatever, definitely let me know. Even episodes that I create and stuff, which I will be getting back into, definitely let me know, like if like the type of episodes that I do. If you want me to create one about someone or something that like a cold case, a true crime, to look into in mediumship wise, or like spiritual enlightenment type of way as well. Like there's different type of episodes and stuff that I do. But I think that's it as far as these cards. And so what I'm thinking of doing is going ahead and moving on to the next topic and just continuing from there. Hopefully that oracle card reading was helpful in some sort of way. If you see the video on the YouTube with all the tents and everything into the cities and stuff, I wanted to kind of talk about a unfortunate fact that's going on here in America. I don't know about, any parts of the world, what's going on there, but as far as the little research that I've done about homelessness and, these people literally are living in their tents like that in the street. Now, this is just an AI created video. Like I said, this will be shown on my YouTube channel. But that's pretty much kind of in a way what's going on. They have really nowhere to go. Like, where can they go? I mean, they don't have the money to travel. They're just stuck. And so all they can do is get like little tents to try to live in. And in most cases in these big cities, it's pretty much like that, where they're literally just stuck. If the people will allow, their business for them to be able to, stay outside of their business and sleep in these tents and stuff. And so It's a very, very strong thing that's going on. So this is going to be a little bit of my spiritual enlightenment, coaching conversation. And so, you'll get to hear a little bit of aspects and these kind of ways about that. So a little bit of research that I've done, you might be able to find some too that's on YouTube. And what they're doing is they're going and they're literally talking to homeless people and asking them questions like, what's going on? What is your opinion about this? Blah, blah, blah. To try to kind of dig into it. And they're finding out things that I think for the past few years, it sounds like they're like a lot of them that are up north are moving them down to like Hawaii or Texas or places like this that's warmer climates than it is up north. Not every one of them are doing that, but in certain locations, it sounds like that's what they're trying to do. And just like the video that I had just recently made, like I was just talking about, is we shouldn't have to be having anybody. I mean, anybody should not be homeless. There is so many, and again, you can look on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers out there showing a lot of these abandoned homes. And they could literally, instead of just letting them go to waste, they could seriously turn them into either apartments, turn them into homeless like type of building, to where they can at least stay at instead of staying in tents on the streets. We're supposed to be humanitarians. We're supposed to be working together. And that's not what's going on. I mean, if more and more was able to do this, or to even afford to be able to help people that are homeless, because they're more than likely going almost homeless themselves or bankrupt or something, These are extremely tough times. This is not any easy street or anything right now. So these are very hard times. And it just really hurts me to know that there is these abandoned places, like I said, that they could literally be living in. Like the town could help pitch in and fix it up. And then, maybe they could, put a little bit in, and again, I don't want to cause any triggers or hurt anybody's feelings or anything. And so I just used the example earlier about, like sports. Like instead of putting so much money into sports locally, why not put it into helping, the homeless? And, they could maybe pitch in a little bit to where at least the electricity, the water, is ran. And then maybe if there's any of those, what do you call them? I can't remember the name right now, where they cook for them and everything and they can go there to eat and everything. Some way, somehow, this should be able to be happening like that, to where nobody is homeless. The thing is, too, is that I'm pretty sure there's obviously not enough jobs as well. I think that's a lot of the issue as well, is that we need to be able to produce more jobs. But again, being able to afford to have workers like me, if I had the money to be able to afford workers, oh, trust me, I so could have that help. Big time, seriously. With all the content creating that I'm doing and everything, I would love to pay somebody to be able to help me. And that would at least let me know that, okay, maybe there's a few people that I could help, that would be helping me and everything, and that, at least they wouldn't be going homeless. At least I'm doing my part, to try to help with that, But I can't even do that, just like many others can't even do that either. And so it's like, what do we do? How do we help one another? And like, if you have suggestions, definitely write that also in the comments. Definitely let us know. I love to start up conversations, I'm just hoping that we can keep this, as friendly as we can, because it's like when people, including myself, when we all get passionate, we can sometimes get heated. And it's like, okay, we're just having a conversation. We need to tone down our passions and understand that, the care and the love that we have with our passion and everything to want to make the world a better place and all of that, Just relax. It's a conversation, that maybe somebody gets inspired by. Maybe somebody's able to create something from it. Maybe, keeping it positive and upbeat and everything like that. Maybe something good could come from this. Maybe we could make a change. Maybe, and that's what I would love to see. I would love to see actual change, like somebody getting inspired and creating some sort of change, being able to find, through those loopholes or whatever that it is, to be like, oh, okay, I'm able to, be able to help. You know what I mean? I really hope that we can do this, because we really need that. I mean, there's so much that needs to be changed, and there's already a lot that's changing. Like, a lot of us, like, now, since this video is still on, hopefully it'll stay on while I talk about this too. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about, is downsizing. A lot of what is going on, even though there's a lot of negatives into it, and a lot of homelessness, and this, that, and the other, on the upside of it, though, is it's really teaching us to have a smaller footprint in this world, instead of having these large, lavish, buildings and everything that's taking up so much space, and it's taken away, from nature. Like, look at this, if you're able to see this YouTube video, like, where would the wildlife live at, Like, there's no trees. And that's how big cities are. Some big cities literally look like that. Where it's just huge buildings and it's just concrete, like New York and some other places. And so it's like, really, like, what do we do to improve these scenarios and stuff? And so there's things that we can do. I know that there is. But like I said, with these changes, it's just, a lot of what's going on is it's helping us wake up, to become more aware, and to understand, like I said, that we are literally seriously taken away from the wildlife. Like, the wildlife is struggling to even survive too, even through all these weather changes that's happening as well. Even the northern lights came all the way down to Texas. I wish I could have seen it, but we had clouds that night, unfortunately. I think it had stormed as well. And so we didn't get a chance to see it, and I wanted to so bad. But with everything that's going on, it gets worse before it gets better. And that's the thing too that I almost forgot to mention earlier in my other video, is that it's also what's going through this part. Like, this is also the lesson as well. The hardships, the struggling, that stuff as well. We want to speed through that and get to the other side, but sometimes it makes it worse when we do that. It makes it more hardships, more learning things, to learn along the way. And then finally, when we kind of surrender and like, okay, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. What is it that I need to know? And, when you actually listen and stuff, and that's when you can see, like, this is an example, like, let's say somebody's, struggling and they're working 2 jobs and they're just like, I'm tired, I'm worn out, I've got these kids, I got to be able to feed them, blah, 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 I'm paying my bills, we're barely surviving, and they're just at their wits' end. And it's like, when they take that moment to just breathe and be like, please guide me. What do I need to do? And let's say, they were married and they had like this 2-story huge house, and, that, they had 3 kids or something, and so it was easy to afford that. But then since the separation and, and then she's trying to keep up, I'm just, like I said, using an example, and then she's just trying to keep up with all that, and they're barely surviving, barely able to keep the place, and that's where it's like, when we just stop and breathe, and it's like, okay. And so again, this is just an example. and this is how, oh, I'm sorry. I'm holding my crystal and it fell out of my hand. I'm like playing around with it. And this is what, that I'm seeing through this, is that we're meant to downsize. Like, we're meant to literally not take up as much space as we're doing, because like I said, it's taken from the wildlife. And it's like, when we, give and receive, and, it's a back and forth kind of thing. It's a balancing act, I guess you would say, really. It's a balancing act. And so that's where she'll realize, okay, well, I don't need this huge house. I need something that's affordable, that me and my kids can live in, that I'm not having to struggle as much, and that we're able to survive, but not just survive, but like literally, be able to live in. And so that's where she might end up, let's say, getting an apartment or something, and like a 2-bedroom apartment or something. And so, like I said, I really, really, really think and feel guided that that's kind of what's going on these days, even though it is like severe hardships and a whole bunch of other things as well that we're going through, but we're definitely downsizing. And I didn't know this as well. Like I had mentioned earlier in my video, is that, we don't know these kind of things. It's not going to be on the news. I mean, it might be. I don't watch the news or anything, but, you have to do a lot of researching. And so I remember back then that when people would have an RV in a home, that the RV, they would just go and, they would take during the vacation for, the summer or whatever, and then they'd come back home. Well, my neighbor had bought the RV and it was just sitting there. And so about a year had went by. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, that's what that was. Well, then all of a sudden she's, putting up the for sale sign. I'm like, what's going on here, And so then I realized, once I started watching some YouTubes and stuff and researching, people are literally living in these RVs and they're literally living in these tiny homes. And I was just like, why would that happen? And I wasn't paying attention at the time. And then I started realizing, oh my gosh, like the land tax kept going up. The house insurance kept going up. I'm like, holy cow, what is going on here, And like I said, this is not even an acre of property, and it's already up to near 10,000 for both, for the house insurance and the land tax. And I'm like, dude, who's got that kind of money? And why would you, that would be a down payment for a vehicle, And it's like, who wants to throw that type of money out for what, too, And I was just like, no, I want to be able to live comfortably, and I want to be able to live my life how I need to. And then, so that's when, like I said, I had realized that people were living in, RVs and these tiny homes. I never heard of tiny homes. I was like, what's a tiny home, And it makes a lot of sense. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense with, what is going on these days. And not everybody can afford that either, though, And so it's like, what do we do? And then that's when I started realizing, so they're talking about like Tesla homes and all these other tiny home companies. And I'm like, wow, I see what's going on now, because I just wasn't paying attention. I was just like, I'll get my business going. Everything's going to go. I'll get these courses out there, and everything keeps coming up and stopping me. And I'm like, gosh, I want to get these done. And, so that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm busting butt trying to get all this stuff out there. And as you just saw, I got my first Oracle card deck. And so it's not perfect. I'm going to have to work on it. And, the next set, like once I do get to sell these and these sell out, the next set will have to have like the writing bigger and, different things as well. So I'll have to improve it, but I mean, it's still perfect the way it is. It's just, if like I'm doing, it'll have a PDF, and so we'll go from there. Anyway, this video, if you're watching the YouTube one, is supposed to be about paranormal, but I needed to talk about what I had talked about a minute ago, and I was just like, I needed to talk about that. So I might end up having to add another paranormal video, or we're just going to have to be out of sync, and that's all there is to it. But I do want to go a little more into that, and maybe on the next podcast, maybe I'll have other ideas and things like that as well. But like what me and my brother we're planning on trying to do, and again, it does cost a lot. So we're trying to figure how to do everything as cheap as possible, pitching in together, this, that, and the other, that will help with the cost. And so we just got a lot of figuring out to do. But anyway, we're wanting to basically do our own farming. And that's where it'll go definitely with my channels. Because I do metaphysical energy healing, gardening type of thing. I try to keep it a little bit different, but at the same time, not too different, because I want it to be where, people are literally learning gardening, and some people might not like the metaphysicals or energy healing or any of those other aspects. So, but I try to do a mix of things. But anyway, so I'll definitely have a chance to have a way bigger yard this time. Like I said, compared to my small one, and hopefully I'll be able to make video and everything with that as well, continue my gardening videos, which I have in mind to do. It's just going to be in a different gardening zone from 9B here in Texas. It should be, I think, if he does get that property for sure, it'll be West Virginia, and I'm not sure. I think it's like zone 4 or something. So it's going to be a way different gardening than what I'm used to doing, or I'm not used to. I'm still kind of newbie-ish, so I still got a lot to learn, but we'll see. I know it's a big difference. But anyway, okay, so hopefully I'll be able to go more into that, like a sustainable living, in the next podcast as well, to continue on what I'm trying to finish there. Paranormal wise, what's awesome is a major. I keep saying like general and other things. I think they said he was a major back then in that wartime, and that he had ended up buying, I think, 3,000 acres up there. And I think that the acres and the land that we're getting was part of the 3,000 acres that he had. And what I was guided is that from him is that he's not ready to cross over yet, but he's got some things that he wants to share with me. He's also wanting to do kind of like a forgive and forgiveness, like an ascension thing that I teach in my mediumship course. He wants to do that, it feels like, with some spirits. I don't think there's any really living relatives. I mean, there might be. And if I encounter them, then I'll definitely be passing the message on. So, but it feels like that. And then it feels like that there's probably, and again, I don't want to use trigger words. Any word can trigger anybody. So, I might be wrong with thinking that using the word Native American, that's what I was used to, and that was a polite way. Some people might take offense to that, and some people might say, well, it's indigenous. But then some people might take offense to that, and that's their trigger word, you see. So I don't know exactly how to properly say this type of stuff. I'm not trying to be mean in any kind of way. So what I am trying to say, though, is that I feel like he also needs to make, I guess, amends with them somehow in spirit. And then it feels like he's also going to be helping me a little bit with the cleansing process out there, so I can get the land more cleansed and raise the vibrations and frequencies and energies to a more enlightening type energies. So therefore it'll thrive. It will be helpful for the gardening, the abundance and the prosperity and the harvest, and all of that kind of stuff as well. And so that's what it feels like with him. I was guided to, because like my brother just literally just threw on me last night, like, oh, we're buying this property this weekend. I'm like, huh? And and so I looked at it and everything real quick, and I was just like, what the heck, like, you're throwing this on me, because we were going to pitch in together and all of that. And so I'm not able to really pitch in just yet, but I will have to help out somehow. And we'll figure that out along the way. Like, something's going to come up to where I'll be able to help somehow. I know it will. At the moment, I'm trying to work on the naturally recovering autism stuff with Michael, but we do need to get an RV, and we will need to try to get up there as well. I don't know. There's a lot of steps that I got to work on, but it's got to happen somehow. And the cost and everything is just... Whew. So once I sell this house and everything, then I'll have a little bit, and that'll be helpful. But in the meantime, I'm stuck here and everything at the moment. So, but yeah, so I feel like as far as paranormal wise, that's what he's going to help me with. Because like I said, I knew nothing about the property or anything, and I still don't know anything about it. Like, I literally just found out about it last night, and all of a sudden I was guided to find that major guy, and I was just like, huh. And then all of a sudden, because I saw like a sign or something, and then all of a sudden I was guided to see more info and who he was. Not, much about him or anything. That's where I got to still do some further research. But it mentioned a little bit about him, and about him owning the 3,000 acres. And then that's when I showed my brother. I was like, hey, check this out. And he was like, oh, thank you. He was like, that was the next step that I was going to look into. I was going to start, researching. He said that sign is like just down the road or something from the property as well. And so I was just like, oh, wow. I was like, okay, so it's definitely syncing up, and he's definitely guiding me. So he's guiding my brother, and he's guiding me. And so I got to figure out, what else it is and everything. And then, like I said, then he'll be ready to cross over. So, but in the meantime, I'll be communicating with him, and I will definitely be letting y'all know as well, like what's going on. And who knows, maybe I'll even get some spirit box, sessions with him, or maybe dig deeper and find out more information or something, and like I said, I'll be sharing everything along the way with y'all. It's just the YouTube version will have videos. So like if I'm ending up doing like a spirit box session, like how I did the oracle cards in this video, then you were able to see that. If not, that's fine. You can still hear it through the podcast. And like I said, it just depends on your schedule and how busy you are and all of that, and what your needs and wants are. Whether you want to do the video and audio or just audio. But yeah, so don't worry, it's always there. You could listen to the audio first, and then if it sounds interesting, then you can come behind and, look for the video. But yeah, there's a lot of, I'm sure, other paranormal things that I'll be discussing. But at the moment, as of recent, that's what's going on. I didn't know this was happening either, like I said. And so for about 3 days, really strong, I was sensing my mom, and I was like, that's weird. And then that's when I found out that, like I said yesterday, that's when they were like, oh, look, we found some property. I think this is the one. We're signing the papers. I'm like, good gosh. Because he was like, looking at other places and, things like that. And so I was like, well, just keep sharing with me, But yeah, so they felt that, this was the one and everything. And then even if, let's say I get up there and then things change in a few years or whatever, and, there's some other property nearby or something, and I just want to move on that, I can do that too, maybe. It just depends on how the economy's going and how everything else is going, So, and if you have your favorite, paranormal, supernatural, mediumship, and all that, that you want to share about, or your story or anything, then definitely share that in the comments as well with us too. So we can definitely have these conversations going. Yeah, I'll try to, I'm praying and hoping maybe by the ending of this year, I can try to get my mediumship course out there, published and ready. Now, what I'm thinking of doing, if I do it that quick, it's going to be because there's a lot of lessons that I took out, and I will be working on them, and I will be, adding them along the way. What I'm thinking of doing is making sure that to try to at least have the main learning things of mediumship, like how to and practicing and this, that, and the other. But what scares me is that if I put it out there and then I work on the main videos that are needed too, that I didn't get to post and everything with it, then people could be like, okay, go ahead and give me the certification. I'll be like, yeah, but you still got to take these too. Oh, well, I already took what I needed to take, so just go ahead and give me the certification, And it's going to be like, no, you need to take all of these, but that's where it's like, I don't know what to do yet. I don't know, because of those kind of reasons, if I should just hold off until I can get it as much as I can. Because I got students, they've been waiting on this, and so they're like probably thinking, please, could you hurry up and give me the link? Because what happened is my son was going to school, and like I said, he is nonverbal autistic. And so I'm young and dumb and not paying attention and didn't learn any of this stuff until basically it happened. Before COVID happened and everything, he was going to school, and then all of a sudden COVID happened, and then it ended up where he was home from school. He was being homeschooled, and because I was getting burnt out anyway at that point, I was finally getting to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm tired of constantly getting up and trying to do everything. It's rough. It's really rough doing that yourself daily for years, because he could have went till he was 21. And that's what I had in mind. I was like, well, I'll be able to get this course finished, and all that stuff. Well, it ended up I didn't get to. What happened is I got the beginning, and I think it was the intermediate, the middle part is what they took. They haven't taken the advanced part yet that I'm still working on for the and I've got a whole bunch of other things that I've added too. So that's why it's taken so long as well. Like, I want this very thorough, especially if people are going to be teaching it as well. So it's not going to be just practitionership. But yeah, so it basically has to where, like, I haven't got to teach them yet, like the removals, how to detect attachments, to remove them, to cross them over, and those other type of steps. It was just kind of mainly learning and practicing a little bit is what they pretty much were left off with. And so that's why I'm trying to hurry, because I know that that's the main thing that they're looking forward to, is the how to detect and to detach and this, that, and the other, the more advanced stages. I'm taking my time on that a little bit. It's not that I'm purposely doing that, but I am in a way, because that's a very dangerous thing. Like, you can't just go in and be like, okay, I had learned this, it's okay, I'm an expert, and I'm going to remove this. It don't work like that. Like, this is a very dangerous, risky job, like, for your own well-being, for your client's well-being, and all of that. And so it is not a simple go in and get this done and that's it. Like I said, this really, there could be lawsuits and all kinds of stuff. So I'm trying to be as very cautious and as very careful as I can with this. Now, I will have to have it in writing that I am not liable for anything that, goes wrong and all of that kind of stuff, because I'm not there doing the job, they're learning from me, and then, I can maybe, help them and everything, like certain times, not all the time, because, I'll finally be doing whatever it is that I need to be doing. But yeah, I got like plenty other courses that I need to work on too after this, and some books and other things as well. And so I want to hurry and get all this stuff done, because I want to enjoy life. But the problem is that I'm also slowed down, because I'm trying to do the Naturally Recovering Autism program. And that's where we make like a juice twice a day, along we're supposed to change our diet. And the juice will have like vitamins, minerals, elixirs, herbals, and all kinds of stuff in it. And it takes me like about an hour or so just for one time, to get ours ready. And then we drink it. And then that takes almost about 30 minutes, because you don't want to gulp the whole thing down, of course. And so we drink that down, and then I go about my day, do whatever I got to do for about an hour or two, and then I've already got to cook again, and then I've already got to make the juice again after that, so, and then we're getting ready for bed. I'm like, gosh, it consumes my day. So I'm trying to get a lot of this stuff done, and I'm trying to get these courses and this, that, and the other done, along with some of the courses that I'm taking. Like, I'm trying to get my body code certification as well. So I'm just wore out really thin, but I want to get all this stuff done. Like, I know this is on my soul path. And so I've got to get these steps done, because like I said, I really want to enjoy life. Hopefully I get that chance. And if not, I just don't, maybe it's meant for me on the other side, who knows? But yeah, so I just wanted to mention, some of these things. And like I said, there'll definitely going to be more podcasts. I won't have like a set day, time, things like that as of yet. And we'll see how these go. We'll see how these improve or whatever along the way. And definitely either email me or write a comment or whatever way, you prefer. And let me know, what topics you would like me to cover, or, eventually I'd love to do interviews and things like that as well. That would be very fun. And so we can really, get more in depth in things as well. If there's other topics among like things that I teach, that's like metaphysics, energy healing, mediumship, ethereal, etc., definitely let me know, and I'll see if I can talk about it, including some gardening. I'm not an expert, but I will try my best to, anything as best as I can, I will try to cover as well. But anyway, so I really, really appreciate you liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and all that you do. And I'm sending you much love, gratitude, and thanks. See you soon.